Today, we're going to unravel a really fascinating story that connects technology and the law. We're going on a journey that starts with a single line of computer code and ends with a huge question about what it even means to create art in the age of AI. So yeah, what is the thread that ties these three totally different worlds together? Well, it's a story about control, it's about creation, and it's about a legal idea that is being pushed and pulled in ways no one could have ever predicted. So let's start at the very beginning with the absolute basics of how video even works. All right, section 1, controlling every frame. Before AI was even a twinkle in a programmer's eye, we had to control video manually. We're talking absolute precision, right down to every single image. You know, at its heart, every video you've ever seen is really just a clever trick. It's just a bunch of still pictures, a series of frames that are flashed in front of your eyes so fast that your brain says, hey, that's smooth motion. And the speed of that flashing, that's your frame rate. And this is where direct, hands-on manipulation comes into play. You have these incredible tools like FFmpeg, which is just a beast of video processing. It gives you precise control by literally just dropping or duplicating frames to hit whatever speed you tell it to. It's direct, it's mathematical, and it's super powerful. So for example, say you have a really smooth video shot at 60 frames per second. You run this one little command you see here, and you just tell it, I want 30. And what does FFmpeg do? It just throws away every other frame. The video's length is the same, but you fundamentally changed its structure. This is our baseline, right? Direct, human-driven control. So let's jump to the next section and see how we get from that kind of manual control to something totally new. This is where the AI actually steps into the director's chair. Okay, so until pretty recently, AI video had this huge storytelling problem. It could make a gorgeous, single, continuous shot, someone walking down a street, a camera panning across a landscape. But it couldn't do one of the most basic things in all the filmmaking. It couldn't cut to a different scene. But now, a new model called Shot Adapter is completely changing the game. So you can give it a prompt, something like, a woman knits on the couch in a warm living room. And, just like you'd expect, it generates that shot. But then you add a second part to the prompt. And this right here, this is the magic. The AI creates a whole second shot, and it feels seamlessly connected to the first one. It's the same woman, but now she's in a totally different place, doing something totally different. The AI has actually learned how to make a cut, just like a human film editor would. So how on earth does it do that? It's really, really clever. It uses this special transition token, which is basically just a little flag that tells the AI, okay, time to cut now. Then it uses this other technique called masking to make sure the first prompt only affects the first shot and the second prompt only affects the second. And that's how it keeps the character's identity consistent across different scenes, which is honestly a massive breakthrough. And that breakthrough in technology, well, it leads us straight into a huge legal gray area. So here's the million-dollar question, actually the multi-billion-dollar question at the heart of major lawsuits right now. When an AI that's been trained on millions of existing photos and videos makes a new video with multiple shots, is that a real act of creation? Or is it just a super, super sophisticated way of copying? To even begin to answer that, the legal world is looking to a really powerful idea, a central pillar of copyright law called fair use. And that brings us to this key concept, transformative use. The basic idea is pretty simple, actually. If you take copyrighted material but you use it to create something new with a different purpose or a new meaning, it might not be a violation. It might just be fair use. And this isn't some newfangled idea. It's been evolving for a long time. It goes all the way back to 1841 with this basic question of whether a new work just supersedes the original. Then in 1990, a judge named Pierre Laval really pushed for protecting works that add new value, new info, new insights. And then the big one. In 1994, a Supreme Court case about a parody song made transformativeness a make or break factor in fair use cases. So let's break down the difference, because it's crucial. Supersetting use is basically a substitute. Think of like a bootleg copy of a movie that competes directly with the real thing. But transformative use? That's different. That's when you repurpose the original for something new, like using a movie clip in a video essay to make a totally new point. Okay, let's bring this back to the AI. Let's take this legal idea and apply it directly to the video technology we just saw. Where does it land? New art or high-tech copy? Well, there's a really interesting legal case from the early days of Google image search. A court had to decide if creating all those little thumbnail images was copyright infringement, and they said no. Why? Because the purpose was transformative. Google wasn't trying to show you art, it was creating a pointer, an electronic reference tool. It was a brand new function. See where this is going? The argument for AI being transformative follows that exact same logic. It's a totally new function, right? Turning text into video. It provides a new kind of social benefit by making video creation accessible to more people. And, super important, the final video isn't a direct copy of any single thing it was trained on. It's something new, synthesized from a giant ocean of data. But, and this is a big but, here's the counterargument. Is the AI really adding new meaning or expression the way a good parody or a sharp critique does? Or is it just remixing the raw ingredients of its training data without adding that essential layer of human insight? That is the absolute core of this whole legal fight. Which leaves us with this final, really deep question. We started this whole journey with the human writing one line of code to control one video. We've ended up with an AI basically directing its own short film. So as this technology becomes the paintbrush and the camera and the editing suite of our future, we have to ask a very old question in a very new context. What exactly defines an author anymore?